Hello and welcome to Huddle 7. This week's objectives are focused on social awareness. Captains will discuss different leadership styles, and captains will practice leadership through game facilitation preparation. We have another new agenda for today, so let's take a look at a slightly altered huddled plan. So you can see the huddle is the same up until our topic of the day, when we will also include a short connection to the captain's corner. This will only be about a 5-minute, and we won't be learning any additional soccer moves. We will also be including our leadership project practice today, which we'll talk a little bit later about in the video. Let's take a look at the SEL discussion for this week. First, review your community pact. Then, we're going to talk about what examples we can come up with about what leadership is. Then you're going to introduce the idea from Brené Brown about how leaders are learners, not knowers. Discuss how when we practice a skill but maybe don't do it perfectly, we really teach the team that leadership is being vulnerable and open and not always knowing the exact thing to do. After this discussion, you'll have a quick check-in about how soccer practice is going. Review the week's goals, and then discuss any celebrations or puzzles for the practice. This Captain's Corner comes a little bit earlier in the huddles this week because we're going to be focusing on the leadership project. Now let's take a look at the games for this huddle. Your warm-up is Blob Tag. Your Game 1 is Toxic River, and then for Game 2 today we'll be focused on our challenge. And now let's talk about that game coaching challenge. This is an opportunity for us to put together everything we learned in the year and try and lead a game as a team. We'll be focusing on attention getting, clarity of instructions, demonstration, and reflection. The students will practice today, and then in Huddle 8, they will show and run their games with the whole group. Start the project by choosing groups of 5. Mix the age levels. You'll review the objectives of this project with your team. Talk about the rubric, how they want to be clear with their directions, how to get an attention getter so that everybody listens to them when they give directions, how their demonstration should clearly show what to do and what not to do, and how at the end of the game it's very important that they reflect so that everybody understands what we've learned from the playing of the game. Once you've had students in groups of 5 and you've reviewed the objectives, you'll then hand out the worksheets, which you have 10 copies of in your curriculum binder. Those teams are going to decide on which game they want to coach. They can choose a game from the TTL curriculum, or they can choose a new game that's linked in the curriculum for Huddle 7. Then they're going to write down if they want to alter the game at all. Then they're going to choose an attention getter that they're going to use as they demonstrate. And finally, they're going to choose who is going to do what in order to lead the game. Person 1 will set up and organize the teams. Person 2 will give the game directions. Persons 3 and 4 will demonstrate the game, and Person 5 will lead the reflection discussion. If you have uneven groups, adding someone to give the directions or to help with the reflection is a great choice. Now you'll give your players time to plan out how to run their game using the worksheet. Person 1 will decide what equipment they'll use, how many teams they need, how many in each team, and how they will decide who is on what team. Player 2 will look at the game and write out how they're going to give instruction. Each game has a list of instructions, so they can add some new ones or they can simply practice saying them clearly. Person 3 and 4 will plan out how they will demonstrate the game. They will also make sure to practice asking if anybody has any questions at the end of their demonstration. They will need to connect with Person 2 to make sure they know when they will be demonstrating. Finally, Person 5 will decide on these things. How many people will you call on for each question? What responses are you looking for each question? And how will you end the game with a positive cheer? The list of questions they will ask are: when were you a leader in this game? What did you like about our facilitation of the game, and what could we have done better? And how can you continue to be a leader as the school year ends? These questions can be altered if they have other ideas. After the players have planned out their different portions of the game facilitation, have them practice putting it all together. They can do this by having the rest of the group as an audience, or they can do this one at a time as you walk around and give pointers. You can also save time at the end of practice to continue with your scrimmage. And check out our TTL curriculum website at www.uicoach.org/TTL. You can find an easy link to the Game Challenge worksheet if you needed to print more copies. And please, give us your feedback on the curriculum by filling out this curriculum feedback form so we can always improve.
It's time